Hello everyone, I am Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Geneforge 4. We're just heading up to the northwest to get to the Shaper camp. We have to go through this pass every single time, but don't worry, I'm gonna cut out every time I do that just for you guys, because I'm nice like that. Anyway, let's head on into the Shaper camp. We got to speak with them, plus it's a safe place right by us. We need that. Oh wow, we have a lot of essence. I did not realize. We can actually make one of those. I like that. I think we might. Oh, we're here. There's a gate here, but not much else, I think. Alright, in we go. You enter Azarath Camp Gamma, the main Shaper outpost on the Fens of Azarath. This encampment has not been here for long, but it shows all of the competence and professionalism that makes the Shapers deadly foes even under good circumstances. Servile labor has rapidly erected sturdy stone walls and wooden walkways across the marshy ground. You can hear the sounds of soldiers training, creations, feeding, and weapons being repaired. You edge slowly into the fort, holding the pass Alwyn gave you out at arm's length, hoping that someone will think to look at it before killing you. Fortunately, the turrets guarding the entry don't turn on you. You're safe. They must have known that you were coming. Good. I don't know who I'm gonna need to speak with, but... You know who to speak with! The armies of the Shapers are always a mix of creations and humans. The humans are well-armed, highly trained, and constantly tested to ensure their loyalty. This is one of the loyalist soldiers. He has heard of you, he knows what you are and how the rebels changed you, and he doesn't like it. He brushes you off contemptuously when you try to talk to him. An outsider treating you rudely creates the all-too-familiar feeling of uncontrollable rage. However, since picking a fight here would probably be suicide, you get your emotions under control. Well, at least I can control that. Huh. Random gems in a random pot here. I did not expect that. Oh well. There's a small building here. Looks like more than a small building, actually. I think we'll take a look at that in a bit. Here's someone. The Blacksmith of the Shaper camp is a small, pudgy man with powerful arms. He isn't a Shaper, he just works for them, and he seems very bitter about it. Oh, it's you, another Shaper. Not quite, but you don't bother to correct him. I'm a servile. How do you think I'm a Shaper? How kind of you to drop in on your lowly servant. I'm Winters, and I am eager to follow whatever commands you have for me. I also have quality weapons and armor, if you're authorized. You seem unhappy. Well, why would I be unhappy when I have been given the honor of being forced to stay with the Shapers, and in this marvelously foul and wet place no less? I quiver and tingle with the burden of absolute happiness. Why do the Shapers force you to stay here? Because I am good enough to make and repair shaped weapons. When they take metal and infuse it with magic and essence, I can take the result and actually turn it into something useful. So they are kind enough to imprison me and ignore my contempt and boss me around and take my work. Do you wish you were somewhere else? Oh, I would never be anywhere else. I would never work for the rebels, say, those crazy, doomed, idiotic souls. But at least they are fighting for their principles. I bet the smith in the rebel camp is much happier than me, even if he is doomed. Poor sod. We'll find out eventually. Winters, the bitter blacksmith of Azarath Camp Gamma, continues to stand nearby and wait for orders, doing his best to silently broadcast his powerful feelings of loathing and resentment. Can I trade with you? Hey, he's got various items. Pure steel belt. Interesting. Can I get quality weapons and armor? Yes, if you have supply tokens. That is what you'll be given to show you've earned better equipment. When I see one, I know you're authorized to get my wares. He describes the items he can make and their cost. Breastplate, blade, shield, boots, greaves. Nothing we actually need. Where can I get supply tokens? Talk to the Shapers. Do little favors for them. They're the ones that give things out. Well, we actually aren't gonna need any of that stuff. We got plenty. Oh well. Back to looking around. Interesting, these supply tokens, though. I do wonder about it. This must be their storage. No, we're not gonna use living tools right now. That might just piss him off. More mold. I heard a rat. Being a quartermaster in a fort this size is already a difficult job. Keeping the supplies and food dry and unspoiled in this damp fungal environment only makes it more difficult. The woman stuck with the job is all business. She walks up to you and says, Let's make this quick. I'm Sergeant Sabrina, and I'm real busy. I can trade with you, buying and selling. I can take your supply tokens, but I'm not much for conversation. What do you want? Are you a shaper? You think one of the shapers would busy themselves with boring work? Maybe. No, they're too busy, so they leave these jobs to outsiders like me while they keep the army running. What do you think of the shapers? They've been running everything for a long time. They keep things peaceful. I've never had any complaints. And then the rebels came along, and now everything is ruined. And that's all I have to say. Really very busy here. Sergeant Sabrina walks quickly around the storeroom with a towel, trying to keep things dry. Occasionally, she looks over at you to see if you need anything. Any gear I could trade for? Plenty of stuff, actually. Yes, we need those major healing pods, all we can get. Thank you. I think we'll buy a few spray crystals as well, because why not? And the rest, I think we can leave for now. I have some equipment I'd like to sell, like this lovely crystal here. Thank you. What can we get for supply tokens? Of course you would. I was given some nice gear to tempt mercenaries and wanderers like yourself into helping the camp. She destroys the special items she has available and their cost. Steel spine? Nah. Rod of sucre? Maybe. Corrupting baton? No. Volcanic fetish? Interesting. Guardian cloak? I think that might end up being a yes please. So we're going to need to save up these tokens, whatever they are. Eventually. Yeah, we'll find out about them soon enough. Let's see. Infirmary. Okay, good enough. Ah, these must be for wounded soldiers or the like. All bandages and scissors. No actual healing pods in here. Huh. Oh wait, there's one healing pod, but that's it. I doubt we'll be able to take it. Oh, we can, actually. A healing pod and a curing pod. Alright, then. Another guard walking by. Hello, guard. Just wandering around. Ah! This must be a shaping room. When you approach this shaper, she leans close and holds her hood back to get a good look at you. Her face is wrinkled and her hair is sparse and white. You hadn't expected to find someone this old in a military camp. She lowers her hood back over her face and shakes her head. So the corrupted one arrives, and I am to help it. I must trust the wisdom of the general, but... I am Sheridan L, once of Donald's Isle, before you rebels ruined it. Once General Crowley has briefed you, I can be instructed to help you, unappealing as it is. Can you give me training? Not until you have met with General Crowley and have been told of your task. I have that much of a reprieve before I am forced to teach you. You said that you were from Donald's Isle? Yes, the largest and most glorious of the Ashen Isles, before you murderers came. The Ashen Isles were the first province of Terestia to be overtaken by the rebellion. I had the honor of working for Lord Rahul as his purity officer. We will not see his like again. What is a purity officer? I was charged with maintaining the sanctity of the Shaper's secrets. I made sure that our notes and tools were kept out of the hands of outsiders, and I watched my fellow Shapers to make sure they were not being clumsy. It did not make me popular, but I served Lord Rahul loyally and well, and that was all that mattered. I wish I still had that position. There are many dangerous ideas that need to be fought. What sorts of ideas? Have you heard of the Trachovites? Don't say if you have. It will obligate me to investigate you, and I do not have time. Suffice it to say that the stresses of recent events have led some to believe that shaping itself should be eliminated. Of course, this point of view is dangerous to us. Don't worry, though. This idea, like many others before it, will be eradicated. Odd. So the corrupted one would deal further with me. I will endure it. I have been told that it is for the greater good, and I must have faith. What happened to Lord Rahul? He organized the evacuation of those who weren't to fight like me, and then he led the defense against the Drakon invaders. He died gloriously, I hear. I mourn him still. What is your job here? I make creations, and I send them out to encounter the rogues sent out by Shaper Monarch. This is the task I have been given. I spend the rest of my time trying to keep my old bones dry and warm in this miserable place. How did you end up fighting here? All sane and capable Shapers were called by the Council to serve. Even though I wished that I could retire and rest, I could not ignore the call of the Council, and I could not forgive myself for not fighting the foulness of Monarch. Why do you say that I am corrupted? You are corrupted. You touched the Geneforge. I can see it when I look at you. The madness barely restrained, the lack of control, the control one must have to properly use our power. What I see when I look at you frightens me. There is little that can be done for you. Look closer. Tell me what you see. Sheridan L looks closely at you. Her eyes are weak, but she is inspecting you with more than just her sight. She uses the perception of a shaper. You have used the Geneforge and many of the canisters. You have used them freely. Too freely. There is little that can be done for you now. Is there anything at all you can do for me? You try to convince her to help you. Something about your worth makes her sympathetic, and you skillfully play on that. Alright. I will try to calm your mind. I do not think it will work. She lays her hand on your forehead and starts to mutter, working through a series of spells. Soon she takes her hand away, exhausted. Your mind does feel strangely clearer and more focused. Oh, well, we got a point in spellcraft, so that's something. Looks like this is just, yeah, it's just various pools and the like. And we may as well go into the middle here. Speak with the commander, who I think we spoke with before. I mean, Crowley does sound familiar. Once again, you meet General Crowley. He has changed since you first met him at the Shaper camp in this Forsaken Lands. Since he came to the Fens, he has been ill. He is now pale, thin, and has a constant wet cough. But despite this, he is still the leader here, and he still has the powers of a Shaper. His poise and confidence have not left him. Ah yes, the young lifecrafter you call yourself? I had heard that you were coming. Many of us have expressed doubt about allowing a servile to help us, and providing magical training, no less. But I still believe that you might be our best hope for uncovering and preventing whatever mad plan the Dracons have hatched. Yes, I will be ready to work on that in a bit. We have invested too much attention and aid in you to allow such dithering. Time is short. Will you be helping us or not? I will do my best to help you, maybe. Crowley nods. After a sickening coughing fit, he says, Oh, then we can hopefully allow you to continue north soon. As soon as a wildfire loose in the Fens of Mazzara can be contained, and Agent Miranda and I think that you can help. You mean that I won't be going north right away? I am afraid not. The problem of Shaper Monarch needs to be dealt with, and we are desperately short of members of our sect to create forces to oppose him. To deal with this, you have been drafted. I need you to speak with Agent Miranda. She will tell you what you need to do. Oh, and one more thing. What is that? General Alwyn sent ahead news of what you have been doing. I know that he asked you to help with Mose. I know that you failed. Do what Miranda asks of you, and do not disappoint us again. If you do, you will be hunted alongside the rest of the rebels. That is all. When can I travel to the north? When the threat posed by Shaper Monarch has been removed, speak to Agent Miranda. She will be personally directing you in this operation. Once it is concluded, I will direct you to a safe route into Burwood Province. Tell me more about Shaper Monarch. Yes, I suppose someone should tell this story, or as much as we have been able to determine of it. Shaper Monarch is a man. He is insane, and he is considerably skilled in the Shaper arts. We don't know where he came from, or who trained him. We are positive that he must have originally been a rebel, though, corrupted by their Geneforge and their canisters. Why are you sure that he was a rebel? Sometimes Shapers can go wrong, and they are punished, but I know of no case where a true Shaper has fallen victim to such a consuming, damaging madness. Is Shaper Monarch his real name? That is doubtful. It is the title he assumed when he made his presence known to the world. What did he do? He set up a workshop in the town of Grosh to the northwest. Unknown to the Shapers there, he began to make creations, and in violation of Shaper laws, he didn't bother to control them. He just made many of them, and held them frozen in secret in his home in the sewer tunnels. And then, when what he was doing was found out, he unleashed them. They swarmed, and as they rampaged through the town, he started making more monstrosities, making and sending out, and making more and sending out more, giving his creations as much power as he could manage and releasing them. It is the worst-case scenario for a mad Shaper. It is the thing my sect most dreads. Shaper Monarch must be hunted down and destroyed. In this, at least, we and the rebels agree. The rebels do not support Shaper Monarch? Of course they don't. The Fens of Mazzara are one place in Terrestia where our kind and theirs have an informal truce. We leave each other to be until Shaper Monarch is gone. The man is a monster, spreading devastation for his own sick purposes, whatever they are. The rebels loathe him as much as we do. How can one Shaper hold off your army? He can't, not indefinitely, but he is completely unbound by our laws, and he had a head start. By the time we got here in force, he had already created... we do not know how many creations. Lots. He is not bound by the requirement to only create as many creations as he can control. This is why we Shapers must kill him. He must suffer for violating such fundamental laws. Why don't his creations attack him? We do not know. They are created rogue, out of control, listening to no orders and owing no allegiance. And yet he can send them out to do such harm. I do not know why he feels so safe from them. It is something we very much want to learn. General Crowley is eager to return to the many details of administering the campaign in the Fens. However, he does set aside a little time to deal with agents like you. Yes, what else do you need? And quickly, please. I'd like to know more about this camp. For the moment, you can see just how weary Crowley's illness has made him. He shakes his head. I do not have the energy for idle conversation. I will direct you on this mission. I will send you to Burwood when it is completed. If you want to know more about the camp, talk to people in it. Those of them who haven't, like me, been eaten away by the disease of this filthy place. Alright then. First, though, can you give me training? I have no choice, though I had thought that I would rather die than teach a lowly servile. Now that the time comes, I think that with strength I can withstand the dishonor. Will you benefit from my knowledge of magic or shaping? Well, magic. Major heal. Banish affliction. Cures all harmful effects on a single target, including mental effects, slowing, and curses. I like that idea. Kill. Strikes one foe with a devastating bolt of magic. That's impressive, but we'll never be able to use it. Steel skin. Gives a single target very tough skin. Reduces damage from enemy blows. Essence armor. Like Essence shield, but stronger. Elemental cloak. Covers all nearby allies with a magical cloak, providing resistance from all forms of magical damage. Very interesting. These are some very interesting things. Essence shackles. Places magical bonds on a nearby enemy, making its movements much slower. That's not very useful, I think. Strong Daze is exactly like Daze, but stronger. Dominate. Temporarily controls the mind of a single enemy. It will attack its friends for a short time. Only works on creatures with brains, not undead, for example. Major heal. Heals a lot of damage on a single target. You know what? Let's see what the shaping gives us. Create Roamer, Kaishak, Clawbug, Battle Alpha, Glach, Wingbolt. Ooh. A single Wingbolt which will serve you. You need a magic shaping skill of 2 to use this ability. The higher the skill, the stronger the creature. If the skill reaches level 3, a new creation will be available. Interesting. I'm actually very interested in creating a Wingbolt. Kaishak needs a fire shaping skill of 2. You really don't need much shaping skill in order to make any of this stuff. I would like to maybe make a Wingbolt. You know what, let's buy it, see what we can get. What does it take? 125?! No, we're not making a Wingbolt. No way. I mean, this is 32, 64. We won't be able to make one for a long, long time. Okay. Let's improve the create Glock 3 times, actually. Oh, we need 4! Ah! Son of a crap! I didn't realize! Fine. We'll leave it be. There's no point in improving those anymore. Magic, anything we want. Banish Affliction, definitely. Group Heal, sure. I think we'll leave the rest of that for now. We need more coins. We spent a lot. That looks like it's just a guard. And that's just another guard post. Okay, we need to find this Miranda. The name sounds so familiar. Can't remember where it's from, but I know I've heard it somewhere before. That's just like a guard post or something. This is actually Servile Camp. The Serviles of the Shaper Camp are a simple lot of lines bred for hard labor and little speech. They are watched over by this man. He isn't a Shaper, just one of the many outsiders the Shapers trust to look after creations, and in this case keep them fed, clothed, clean, and on time for work. When he sees you, he turns from dishing up stew for a few tired Serviles from the wall-building crew and says, "Ah, good, help at last. I am Servile Keeper's Inn, sir. I'm glad you finally made it out here to talk to me." You look after the Serviles? That is my task, and I am proud of it. The Serviles here have had a difficult time, and they need someone to aid them. Really need it. It's a shame. What do the Serviles need? I cook their food, tend to their injuries, reassure them when they are scared, which is very often. Serviles are terrified of rogues, and the swamps are full of them. Why have they had such a difficult time? The rogues and the terror, and the sicknesses that come from being in the swamp. We have all been affected by it, but the Serviles more than most. What do you think is a shame? The Serviles here are simple. Simple in the mind, and the Shapers have made them that way. They are always afraid, and they're mostly helpless. It's not for one like me to judge or advise the Shapers, but I do wish they didn't make their creations so weak. Looking around at the Serviles around you, simple, dirty, squabbling creatures, you shudder with horror. This is easily how you could have ended up if you weren't born around the rebels. Lucky me. Zinser doesn't really want to talk. He has a lot to do keeping the Serviles happy and healthy. Yes, what else do you need? Are the Serviles well? They are cold and wet, and they frequently fall ill, plus the terror of the rogues. They are as well as I can make them, but there is only one of me. I can only do so much. Do you need help from me? Yes, I have asked for Shaper attention, but there are few Shapers and much to do. A few days ago, I had a crew of Serviles outside maintaining the wall. I went back into the fort for food. When I came out, all 8 of them were gone. At first, I thought that there had been a fight, but there was no sign of it. No bodies, no blood. The earth wasn't torn up. I know that you are going to be exploring the Fens. If you can find my Serviles, please bring them back. I am worried sick. Do you have any idea where they might be? No, no idea at all. And I am not a soldier. Wandering the swamps looking for them would be suicide. If we can find the Serviles, we'll help them. This is one of the Serviles the Shapers keep around to repair walls, clean, cook, food, and do everything else that they don't want to do. The Shapers have made sure that all of the creations in camp are completely controlled and loyal. These Serviles have instructions not to say a word to you, and they are obeying. And they don't even have floors. Almost everyone else seems to have floors, except the Serviles. Kinda unfortunate. Bound soldier. This soldier must have done something wrong and got a flogging for his trouble. Then he was left tied to this post so that he could think about things for a while. When you get close, he whispers, "Get away, don't help me. I don't want them to think I need help." You back away. Okay then. Ah, there's the what's her name? Once again, you meet Agent Miranda. She still looks the same as she did when you met her in that cell in Southport Citadel. Still energetic, still cocky. The only real difference is the thick cloak she wears to keep out the wet and the chill. I knew the name was familiar. She also seems surprisingly pleased to meet you. "Ah, the freak," she says while smiling. "Come over to the side of sanity, I see. Once you've been briefed by General Crowley, I'm the one who will be directing you in this campaign. So welcome to Mazzara Camp Gamma, and I hope that we can all get out of here soon." Tell me about Azaraf Camp Gamma. Oh, it's a mud hole. We need to keep the Serviles mortaring new rocks to the tops of the walls because they keep sinking into the mud. Delightful, yes? She smiles happily while she says this, as if the adversity puts her in a good mood. This is far from unusual for an agent. Of course, we are still around, which is more than you can say for Camps Alpha and Beta. What happened to Camps Alpha and Beta? They were undermanned and under-defended. They didn't properly estimate the threat Shaper Monarch poses. They were lost in night attacks, and the delays enabled Monarchs to send more rogues out into the mire. But this camp is a solid one. We will be victorious! The swamp is making it hard on you? Don't get an overinflated view of Shaper capabilities. Swamp fever still exists, and we can't always cure it. We've had plenty of sickness, plenty of deaths, even among Shapers. But don't worry, Shaper Monarch will pay for it. Eventually. So wait. Is Monarch going to pay for releasing uncontrolled creations and causing horrible death and pain? Or is he being punished for causing the Shapers some discomfort in the fact that they have to go into the swamp? Oh, at least now we know what happened to Alpha and Beta. Although, considering what they said about Gamma, I don't know. Oh well, in time, Camp Alpha will sink into the swamp. Camp Beta will sink into the swamp. And if the rebels win, I imagine Camp Gamma will burn down, fall over, and then sink into the swamp. What have you been up to lately? Oh, little old me. After I escaped your dingy rebel basement, I checked in with dear old Alwyn. Then I tried to head north to infiltrate Burwood Province. Then I met your fate. What did you do when you met Alwyn? I tried to cheer him up. He's always so serious, so grim. Typical Guardians, as if there's never anything funny in the world. Agents see much more of the world. That's why we have a sense of humor about it. Huh. You don't seem as similar to how you were before. You met my fate? Getting sucked into by the fight in the Fen. I'm trapped here like you until the threat of Shape of Monarch is removed. We're stuck. Alright. Agent Miranda smiles at you. She seems to find your being here to be genuinely amusing, though you don't really get the joke. What is it, freak? What else do you need? Are there any other jobs I can do to aid the Shapers with maybe a little reward thrown in? You try to convince Miranda to give you more work. I want to have you focus on your main mission. The sooner it is completed, the sooner I can get out of here. But I suppose that you can keep your eyes open along the way. Though we have been cooperating with the rebels in this region, we are not fools. We have a spy in the rebel camp. His name is Captain Archibald. Since the rebels trust you, you can reach him easily. Contact him, get his report. I'm ready to help the fight against Shaper Monarch. That is good. The sooner that madman is dead, the sooner we can get out of here. Why couldn't he find a more pleasant area to fight with rogues? Our forces are constantly fighting his out in the Fens, and the rebels are fighting him too. As you proceed, you will want to see what help the rebels can give you. I'm sure they'll want to support you. Right now, it'd be suicide to go against Monarch directly. We want you to try to rescue a Shaper he has imprisoned. His name is Kirik, and he is held in the tunnels under Grosh. Rescue him, and if you can, bring him back to us. We believe that he can be a valuable source of information about Monarch. Kirik. I remember him from Geneforge 3. How do you know that Kirik is there? He made a creation and sent it to us. An ingenious little flying worm thing with a letter tied to its tail. We got it not long ago. It's possible that Kirik was killed in the meantime. We hope not. Who is Kirik? He is a Shaper from the Ashen Isles, a recluse. I know little about him, except that he is very powerful and that the Shapers sent him out to remote island to get rid of him. Probably a misfit of some sort. We didn't even know that he was down here until we got his message. You are sure that he is in the tunnels below Grosh? Yes, the southern half of Grosh to be specific. That's what the note said anyway. It should be safe to reach him, as he indicated that Monarch spends his time in northern Grosh. Can you give me any support to reach him? No, I'm afraid that every single soldier would rather die than take your orders. Nothing personal. You should go to the rebel camp and see how they can help you. I wouldn't be surprised if they could give you some aid. Hey, help is always useful. And we will go to the rebel camp. We know it's pretty much directly to the north. We'll take a... That's probably out the north... yeah. We'll take a look... what the hell. Let's take a look out here quickly. Leads to Central Fens. You know, I think we'll probably go there... what the hell. We'll probably take that first. Then we'll clear out the Central Fens so we have a clear connection. But that'll be in a couple episodes. Alright then, back to this. Let's see here. Looks like there's trash picked out there. I see a... we don't really need to take that in all honesty. Looks like various yeah, this is the barracks, according to the sign. Is there much else around here, actually? Looks like there might be a few other things. Ooh, is this a west exit? It is! What's out the west exit, I wonder? Southwest Fens. Fair enough. Oh, that'll be the direct way into the Grosh ruins. Nice. First, though, we need to find the rebel camp. Then we'll start trying to deal with Shaper Monarch. Of course, before we do all that, we need to finish looking through all this. Yes, I do say things a lot, so sue me. Refugees. You spend some time talking to the refugees who are filling up this corner of the camp. They live in cold, muddy huts, huddling around smoky braziers and hoping for a chance to escape. They tell you that they are all from Grosh, a town to the northwest, and that they were driven out by Shaper Monarch. They suggest that if you want to learn more, you should talk to Mazzara. Mazzara, eh? I'll see if I can find this Mazzara. And there's this Mazzara. Hello, this Mazzara. As you walk through the refugee camp, the homeless men and women peer out at you from their huts. They were hastily erected, crude and drafty structures, and yet they were fortunate that the Shapers made room for them at all. There is only one of the refugees that seems to have any sort of authority. As she sits behind this fire, sipping tea, the miserable residents of the camp come to her for advice, settlement of disputes, and simple reassurance. When you approach her, she stands and bows deeply, a sign of great respect. Then she sits again. Welcome. I'd heard that we had a new visitor, and I'm glad that you were able to find time to visit our miserable little corner. I'm Mazzara. Like most of us, I fled my home. Poor unfortunate Grosh. Now I'm trying to find a way to get my people to safety. Tell me about Grosh. It was our home. We lived off of the swamp.
It may seem wet and miserable to you, but to us it was home, and we had something like prosperity. Then Shape of Monarch came and we were driven out. Now we are spread all over the province trying to find a way to get to a safer place.
What did you do when you were in Grosh?
A simple woman, but respected. I did there what I do here, try to help people. I have no official post.
Fair enough. How are you prosperous?
We did many things, but most of our money came from gathering herbs, for food, for medicine, for shaper work. Once most of such herbs came from the Ash Niles to the north. That is rebel territory now, so where they failed the Shapers, we succeeded.
How did Shaper Monarch drive you out?
He came to our town. He was quiet, eccentric, kept to himself, but he brought land and he brought herbs, so we tolerated him. Then we started to hear noises coming from his home, and the sewers under it, so we tried to decide what to do. We were too slow. By the time we sent word to the Shapers, he had enough creations and made to turn us out. We were but a simple town, after all, with only a small garrison, nowhere near enough to defeat a surprise attack from within.
Do you know what Shaper Monarch's real name is?
He introduced himself to us as Monarch. We thought it was strange, like the rest of him. We thought nothing of it.
Mazzara sits by the fire, sipping tea and wrapping her cloak tightly around herself. You try to figure out if she is actually old or if recent events have simply aged her prematurely. How go things in the camp?
The Shapers tolerate us, but we are still outsiders. They don't let any more of us in. They want to be rid of us. That is why we want to find a way out now, while we still have some control, before the General loses his temper and drives us out.
Where do you want to go?
I want to take the people here into Burwood Province. It is the only choice. The barrier zone keeps us out of Ilya Province, and the monsters of the swamp will devour us if we try to settle in the Fens. So that leaves north. Hopefully the rebels will leave us alone. But we can't leave yet, and that is why I was hoping you could help us.
What do you want from me?
General Crowley does not want us to leave. He doesn't think that we can escape the Fens alive, and he thinks that I may be harboring spies among them our people. Convince Crowley to let us go. We know the swamps well. I think that we could go north safely. We would go to the rebel camp to collect all the other refugees we can find, and then go to Burwood Province until it is safe. It is a good plan, we feel, but we need the General's approval before we can leave.
Where do you want to go? Oh, we already got that. Okay, we can speak with him. Although, I don't know if going to the rebel camp first would be the best idea. You might be better able to convince... There are two serviles digging a tunnel back here. They are short, squat, and powerfully muscular. They are also inarticulate and dim, all qualities of typical menial labor stock, kept strong and obedient by the Shapers. You don't even bother to try to talk to them. Someone attempting conversation would probably only upset them. Lovely. I'll speak with him, although I imagine he'd probably tell you to go straight out if you can. He probably would be very upset if you went to the rebel camp. I mean, you'd get more spies from there. Anyway, I've been speaking with Mazzara, the leader of the refugees. And they want permission to leave the fort and go north. So Mazzara has said again and again, but this would be allowing them to kill themselves, and allowing any spies among them to take their knowledge to the rebels. It can't be allowed. Is there no way they could be allowed to leave? You try to convince the general to let the refugees depart, but you have no luck. No, no, enough! I do not wish to banter with you. My word is final. That is unfortunate. It seems like a lost opportunity. Something in your tone intrigues the general. What do you mean? Any of the resources they take, the food, the space, it could all be freed up if they left. You are convincing as you can be, but the general is still dubious. You think I haven't thought of that? I am not so worried about their spying. They couldn't see anything rebel creations flying overhead I haven't already seen. But I would have to know that there is a safe place for them to go. It is a moral issue. Whatever you rebels may think of us, I will not send those people out into the Fens to be butchered. Tell Mazzara this. If she can come up with assurances that they can safely reach the rebel camp, I will let them go. Then they can be a burden on the rebels. Okay, I suppose that's a fair enough thing. He's not worried about spies. They just want to be able to get out to the rebel camp safely. That's something we can speak with them. We'll do what we can. If we can help them, that would be great. The general will let you go, but first he needs assurance that you can reach the rebel camp safely. This response is extremely frustrating to her.
There are no perfect guarantees in this world, no promises of safety, but I suppose in some small way he is showing consideration for us. I will return the favor. I have heard that the refugees in the rebel camp are led by a man named Mose. Go there and speak with him. Perhaps he knows something about the route between here and there, and he can provide more of a guarantee than the journey is safe.
Alright, that's something we can do. We'll go speak with this Mose. That said, we still have other areas to clear. We'll clear out the area in the east side of the marsh first, then we'll clear the area ahead of it, and then we'll head our way to the rebel camp, then we'll find our way into the city. We got a long stretch of things that we're going to have to do, and we will do it eventually. It'll start with the east part of the swamp. But that'll be in the next episode, people. So, until then, I am Chestoke44. That is Enrique, Moyes, and Faye. This has been a Geneforge 4 Let's Play, and I will see you all next time.